scenery today. I just thought I might sit somewhere a bit different for you and record the fibro section. So, fibro section, bling, 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 bling. This week, I thought I'd do a fibro section on stress because I have been under a lot of stress lately. If you watch my vlogs, you will know that we are in the process of moving to a bungalow, and also I have Poppy going through her GCSEs, Holly is going through her A-levels, so it's a very stressful time and it's near Christmas. So my mind has been blown lately and I've been looking for ways to deal with my stress. So I thought, well, why not do the fibro section on stress? Now, I've done a lot of research this morning on stress. So I'm going to share with you what I've found, and then at the end I'm going to put a link. Well, I'll put the link in the description, but I'm going to put the link on the screen. You can't link from it, but you can copy it, that you can go to get further help and read up further on it if you want to. Right, so this has all come from the NHS website on stress. So if you're wondering where all my research is from, that's where it's from. So some possible causes of stress. Sorry if I'm reading my book, but that's what I've got to do. Could be due to our individual genes, and I'm not talking about the ones you wear. Upbringing and experiences. Trauma. I've had a lot of trauma in my life, but I'm not going to go into that now. Difficulties in our personal lives and relationships. Money difficulties, debt, struggling, especially if you can't work like me. Health issues, like, you know, the chronic illness and other illnesses, that there are so many. Pregnancy and children, problems with housing, feeling lonely and unsupported. And stress affects people differently. It differs from person to person how stress is going to affect them. So signs of stress can be feeling overwhelmed, having racing thoughts or difficult concentrating, being irritable, feeling constantly worried, anxious, scared, lack of self-confidence, have trouble sleeping, avoiding things or people, eating more or less. I always eat more, always. I comfort eat. I wish I didn't. I wish I was the other way. If I was the other way, I'd be like a size 10. Eating, yeah, I've done that, or more or less than usual. Drinking or smoking more than usual, and I can honestly put my hands up and say, when I get stressed, I want in the evening a glass or two of wine because it just calms me down, but apparently not, as we'll find out later on. But that's what I've been doing. Stress is something everyone feels at times, and there are all kinds of stressful situations that can be part of daily life. Low level stress can even be helpful or motivational, so we do actually need stress for some things in our lives, but just not so much stress that you can't deal with it. Right, I'm going to talk a bit about the fight, flight and freeze. So fight is when our body goes into a state of stress. You may feel agitated and aggressive towards others, and this is because our bodies naturally go into a state of fight, which can be a helpful reaction to ward off predators, but it can also negatively affect relationships and ruin reputations if you're going to be fighting and in that aggressive mood all the time. Flight, another natural reaction, is to go into a state of flight, which can be a useful mode of survival, for example, when we find ourselves in a dangerous surrounding, and in everyday life we're often unable to run away, and that when we do, we realise that the stressor is quick to catch up with us. So running away isn't really the answer, because your stress runs with you. Freeze. Freeze! In this case, the energy mobilised by the perceived threat gets locked into the nervous system and we freeze. This response sometimes reveals itself when we breathe, holding our breath which I do a lot, or shallow breathing, which I also do, are both forms of freeze. So I think freeze is probably my one that I do most. Stress has a profound impact on how your body systems function, and health experts are still sorting out whether stress causes cancer or not. They're believing that stress can cause cancer, one of the ways it can cause cancer. So it's so important to try to help your body get over stress. It can cause a rise in blood pressure. People experience it in different ways. It's not always possible to prevent stress. Like we're moving to a bungalow, we can't prevent that. We can't prevent the stress that comes with it. So it's just a case of dealing with it. It's important to identify the stress-related problems as early as possible. So I've identified, actually, I'm feeling really stressed out and I need to do something about this. Changes due to stress may be emotional, physical or behavioural, or a combination of all three. We all experience bad days, but this is talking about negative changes for a period of time, like 5 days in a row or more. And prolonged stress makes people ill. It also contributes to heart disease. It affects the immune system. Why I got ill recently with this cold virus thing. It's linked to strokes, IBS, ulcers, diabetes, muscle and joint pain. So again, if you watch my videos, you'll know that I talk a lot about emotions being linked to pain. Stress is different for everybody. For instance, some may find moving house stressful, like me, while others may thrive on it. They might thrive on the change. You can't avoid stress. Situations arise on a day-to-day basis. Let me turn my washing machine off. So another major reason for stress is significant change that requires adaptation. So like school exams, physical and emotional changes during adolescence, moving house, getting married, having children, relationship breakdowns and losing loved ones. Work-related stress. Now, everyone that knows me knows that I don't work. I have worked. I've worked all my life, my working life, up until probably nearly 3 years ago now when I first got ill. So this is for the people that do work. Expected to work long hours than ever before, leading to an imbalance between home and work lives. If you're stressed at work, it's important to do something. Refer the problem upwards to someone who can deal with it. So they're all sort of the ways of where we can get stressed out. Probably many more, but there's just a few examples for you. So now let's go into how we cope with stress, because that's what we want to know, don't we? We know we get stressed out. I know I'm stressed out. How do we cope with it? Right, the first one is quite laughable because it says get enough sleep. I had 1 hour last night. 1 hour. I know why I had 1 hour, because I had kind of an epiphany where a lot of my stress just melted away. Now, I'll talk to you more about that in the weekly vlog on Saturday, but because I was so on a high, I couldn't sleep. So I had 1 hour. 1 hour. But anyway, get enough sleep. And what I'm going to do is link my sleep video for you above. So if you haven't checked out my sleep video, go check that out. Sleep is essential for the body to function properly. We all know that, don't we? Listen to music. So if you want to concentrate, use classical music because it's peaceful. Keep the volume low. Music can be a reminder to take a break. So make a playlist that lasts for about an hour, and when it stops, take a break. I thought that was a really good idea. And also music to help you to sleep. So if you go watch my sleep video, you'll see more tips on that. Learn to say no. This is a classic one, and one that I've had to really learn to do. So it's simple but effective. And say it without guilt, without thinking, oh, I'm really sorry, but I can't do that. Just say, no, sorry, no, can't do it. Or negotiate. I can't do that now, but I can do it next week if that's any good. You know, don't put the pressure on yourself. Use physical activity, releasing the adrenaline in the body. Again, have you watched my stretch video? Because all the stretches, if you hold them for 30 seconds each one, releases your adrenaline, which counteracts pain and also stress. So it's really important to keep active, even if you're like bed-bound, house-bound. Just try to keep moving, just your body, and it will just help to release that adrenaline. Breathe. Right, take a few deep breaths, allows more oxygen to reach the brain. So we're going to do this together, okay? So take a nice slow deep breath in through the nose and fill the belly with air. Hold for a count of 5 seconds and slowly exhale through the mouth. Right, so we're going to try this, ready? And that calms your system down so much. It says to repeat it 5 times, but I'm only going to do that once with you, but you can do it 5 times. Manage your time. So make a list. Oh, I've always made lists, always, because if I don't make a list, I forget to do something. But make a list of all the things you need to do, but list them in importance. What's most important that needs doing, you know, what's most urgent. And what can others do? So what can you delegate to other people? Create time buffers to deal with unexpected emergencies. So that's a good one for work, isn't it? And arrange workload to meet your energy levels. That's classic. I've done that before. I've written lists of, like a whole list, say this page was my list of jobs, and I'd cover it with jobs, but I was like really low on spoons. So I'd end up being able to do 2 of them and feeling a complete failure. So if you haven't got much energy, just write a couple of urgent jobs down, you know? Or I write jobs down that I can sit and do, like online shopping and things like that. Hobbies. Outside of work activities can be a great way to break up the week and alleviate stress. I have joined the choir. I've belonged to the choir for about 2 years now. I joined it when I got ill because I researched that choirs are really good for chronic illness. And I love it. I absolutely love it. Don't get me wrong, it takes everything for me to drag myself to choir most nights. Like it's once a week on a Thursday night, and it takes everything for me to go. But when I'm there, I have a great time. I might be like clock watching sometimes, thinking I just want my bed. But it's the singing, it's releasing those adrenalines again, and it's just brilliant. But even if singing's not your thing, there's loads of other hobbies that you can be doing. Adult colouring is a really good one as well. That's a great stress reliever, adult colouring. And I also started craft. So if you watch my videos again, you'll know that I like making pebble pictures and things like that. So any sort of craft is really good to focus your attention on something else. Now this one is the avoid nicotine, alcohol, caffeine and refined sugars, because they are all stimulants which prevent you from feeling calm. So there's me having my glass of wine thinking it's going to calm me down, and apparently it's a stimulant and will make me feel even worse. But I don't know, I don't feel that. I feel like it calms my body down. So I know this is what the research has said, but that's kind of, whether it's just how I don't know. But I try not to do it. I do try not to do it. But I don't have caffeine, I don't smoke, and I try and avoid refined sugars as much as possible. So plan upcoming stressful days or events, write a to-do list, the journey, things you need to do, things you need to take with you. It can all help from making that stressful day or event, like really ridiculously stressful, just break it all down. Talk to someone, trusted friends and family, or even phone in a helpline if you feel like you can't talk to friends and family. There's plenty of Samaritans and plenty of phone lines. If you just Google it, you'll find them. And split up big tasks, break them down into easier chunks and give yourself credit for completing them. What I do, once I've done a task off my list, I'll cross it out. And at the end of the day, it just makes me feel so good to look, even if it's just 2 things that I've done them things. Allow yourself positivity. Take time to think about the good things in your life. Each day, consider what went well and try to list 3 things you're thankful for every single day. So I'm going to do this. So I'll make a pact with you. If I'm going to do this, you can do this, yeah? So we're going to write down every day 3 things you're thankful for that day. It could be anything. It could be absolutely anything. Be a cup of tea, you know? But I'm thankful that I'm having it. It can be, I'm thankful I've been able to have a rest today. Or I'm thankful for my husband that, you know, helps me. And it could be anything. Absolutely anything. But 3 things every single day. So I'm going to try and do that now. From today, I'm going to try and do that. But also the positivity. You've got to think about what good things are in your life. And like I say, it's easy to get caught up with the stress in the situation and not see what's in front of you. I've got the most wonderful family. I've got the most wonderful friends. And I am so lucky to have that. I know that. And with this move, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that if we're moving just near Christmas and I haven't got a tree up or the house is a mess. If we're together, that's all that matters. Because that's what Christmas is about, isn't it? Being together, not how many presents you got. Although presents are nice. But it's not about that. So I think it's really important to stay in the here and now and focus yourself on what's happening right this minute. So yeah, right this minute, I haven't got a moving date and I don't know what's going on, but I've got a lovely home still. I'm still comfortable. I'm still loved. So what I'm going to do is put now on the screen the NHS website that you can go on for the stress tips and things. And also you can self-refer yourself for therapy. You don't have to go to your GP. So if you want to go to therapy but you don't want to go through your GP, you can self-refer. So I'm going to put all that on the screen. I'm also going to link it below. So hopefully you've got something from this video this week, because I certainly have from researching all that. I feel a lot better now. Oh, one thing I did forget to mention is meditation. Meditation's really good too, but really we should try and fit mindfulness into our daily life. I think everyone should. And the one I use is Headspace, and it literally takes you 3 minutes a day of Headspace, and you can upload the app. It's free on your phone, and just sit there and listen to whatever they're saying for 3 minutes. Done. It's just so important, so important. But anyway, hopefully that's all helped. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Leave me a nice comment below. Maybe make some suggestions how you deal with stress and how you think this video is going to help you cope with your stress levels, like it's going to help me. And I will see you all on Saturday for the weekly. Bye!